What is up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be talking about 3 cheap clone fragrances that smell and perform like high quality fragrances. Okay, so I have acquired a vast array of cheap clone fragrances, particularly cheap Middle Eastern brand clone fragrances. And I picked 3 today that I love, and I think they're all great value for your money. Most expensive one I want to say is around 35 bucks, and I got one cheapie near for like 20 bucks. So let's talk about them. So first on the list, in no particular order, is going to be Armaf's Checkmate King. So Armaf Checkmate King is a newer release. This came out about 2 or 3 months ago. I believe it came out in December of 2024. And if you didn't know, this is a clone of Jean Paul Gaultier's Scandal Absolute. Now, Armaf did already clone Scandal in Armaf's Mandarin Sky, and a lot of people thought this was a repackaging of that. It is not. This is Scandal Absolute, which is different than the original Scandal. So first, let's talk about what it smells like. The top notes are going to be Mirabelle and fruity notes, with middle notes of chestnut, gourmand accord, and spices, and base notes of sandalwood, powdery notes, and amber. So that's your note breakdown. That's what it's going to smell like. Let's talk about it as a clone. It's really close, actually. Like, very close. For a clone, some clones you could call 1-to-1. This one I'd call about 90% close. The original it's a little brighter in your top notes of that fruity, but once you get about 30 minutes into it and you start to get to dry down, it's about the same. It's basically the same. But this still has the bright fruity notes in the top. It's just not quite as bright and juicy as the original. So you're gonna get, like I said, the Mirabelle plum in the top, and then just under that you get the sandalwood with the powder, basically, and a little bit of spice, but it's not too spicy. It's certainly a warm fragrance, but it's not very spicy. Pretty sweet. For like a $30 to $35, I think I paid for it. It is a awesome smell. This stuff smells so good. Sprayed on your skin once you start. It's gonna last like 6 hours, I would say. You'll get of performance out of it till it just kind of dries down into a skin scent, and there's basically nothing left. I give you about 6 hours, which isn't beast mode, but it's certainly not bad. It's above average performer, I would say, but not a beast mode performer. Decent projection, decent sillage, pretty good sillage actually, but not a bomb. But for this type of fragrance, you don't really want it to be, projecting loud. This is a more date night type of fragrance, and if you're looking for that warmer date night, sweeter type of fragrance, I highly recommend Armaf's Checkmate King. Like 35 bucks and a great value for your money. So number 2 is going to be Aether Extrait from French Avenue, I believe, which is just Fragrance World in a different name. Anyways, let's talk about the notes first. It's gonna have top notes of green apple, bergamot, and orange. Middle notes of cedar, petitgrain, violet, cashmere, with base notes of musk, oak moss, and amber wood. So this, if you didn't figure that out, is a clone of Parfums de Marly's Greenly, and it does it very well. Full transparency, I do not own Parfums de Marly Greenly, so I cannot sit here and compare them on strips, but I have smelled Parfums de Marly Greenly, and I smelled this, and I was like, wow, that smells like Greenly. Now, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect 1-to-1. And let's be honest, if you're talking about a $300 fragrance as to compare to a $30 fragrance, can you expect it to perfectly do it? Because once you get into that PDM's niche category, they're using just the highest quality ingredients, and it's really quite unrealistic to expect it to be perfect. But this does it very well. It certainly has the same DNA, and The real difference is just going to be in the original, you're going to get a brighter, juicier apple, you know, a more natural smelling apple, as to where this is going to be a little more synthetic smelling than the original, but it's synthetic in a good way. And it smells like nature in a synthetic way, if that makes sense. And it's doing a great job. This smells, you get, it is a woody type fragrance, but in a fresh way. This is like, it's not like you're smelling the wood of the tree. It's like you're smelling the whole tree, if that makes sense, right? You're smelling like the wind out of a forest, and you're smelling the wood with the leaves and the fruits on the tree. You're smelling all that in a synthetic way, though, and it's doing it awesomely. If you're looking for a good, warmer, particularly springtime fragrance, you can obviously wear this in the summer, but it's gonna shine in the spring. Aether Extrait is a highly recommended. It is a little more niche smelling, you know. This isn't something you would walk into Ulta and smell. Certainly, people might be, they might be like, oh, this smells different. You know, this is definitely a different smell because it is cloning a niche fragrance. So, you know, but it's still a general mass appealing fragrance. Most people are gonna like it. It smells different, but it smells different in a good way. And like I said, it smells natural in a synthetic way. That probably makes no sense. It's almost a little aftershave-y, barbershop-y in a way, but some people compare it to apple shampoo. I don't really get that as much as I would in the original. But hey, if you want Greenly on a budget, 30 bucks, Aether Extrait, Fragrance World, solid performer by the way, but you'll get about 5 hours. After about 4 to 5 hours, you're gonna lose the greenness to it, and it's just gonna smell like, it honestly just kind of smells ambery after. It like ambery and broxony. After about 5 hours, you lose the greenness, and you get to just the base, and it still smells good. Just kind of turns into a skin scent after about 5 hours. But with a fresh fragrance, a fresh cheap fragrance, what else do you expect? You know, you can't expect again like a bomb performer. Anyways, so that's number 2, Fragrance World's or French Avenue's Aether Extrait. And number 1 is going to be from Lattafa. Again, this is in no particular order, but this is going to be the cheapest one on the list. This is going to be Lattafa's Jasur, which is a clone of Valentino's Born in Roma's Coral Fantasy. And this stuff right here, for $20 is, I highly recommend it. If you're looking for something in that price range to pick up and actually smell good, I would say Lattafa Jasur. If you like Coral Fantasy, you will like this. First, let's talk about something. I don't know what this packaging is. All right, it's with the cap, it's okay, I guess. Like with the cap, it looks all right, right? Like it's got these random motivational words: bold, brave, destiny. Whatever they were doing with this, I don't know. I usually like the tackiness of the Middle Eastern bottles, but this one I actually don't, because when you take it off, this looks so stupid. I don't know what it just looks wrong. I feel like I don't even know. And the liquid's like all the way up here too. I don't know. No idea what is up with this packaging. It looks incredibly stupid, but who cares about that? Lattafa Jasur, clone of Coral Fantasy, and a really well done clone of Coral Fantasy. Again, similar thing with the last one. Coral. Let me talk about the notes real quick. If you don't know what Coral Fantasy smells like, it's gonna have top notes of apple, cardamom, bergamot, middle notes of tobacco, lavender, and geranium, base notes of tonka, leather, patchouli, and vetiver. Okay, so if you don't know what Coral Fantasy smells like, it's a like an apple fruity fragrance with tobacco under it, and don't let that scare you away. I'm not the biggest fan of tobacco fragrances either, but this does it in such a good way. It's still like, it's not an old man fragrance. Like a lot of tobacco fragrance can hinder in the more mature old man-y type smell. This one does not do that. This does it. It keeps that nice spice under the apple in such a good way. This smells so good. But the difference in this and the original is the same thing as the last one. The top note of that apple is just not as bright, you know. It's still there, but you just get more apple out of the original. But You certainly get apple out of this. And let me tell you, this stuff smells great. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of tobacco fragrances, but the undertone of tobacco under this apple is the main two things you're gonna get out of this. You get a tiny bit of leather and a tiny bit of patchouli. Ugh. But like I said, mainly the apple tobacco, like it's like a tobacco or like an apple flavored cigar, right? But you're smelling way more apple than the cigar, if that makes sense. And smells super good. Like if you want something, this will be great for, it certainly could be a warmer weather fragrance. For if you're looking for a spicier fragrance that you can pull off in the warm weather, I would highly recommend this. This would be great for like a summer night, maybe a warmer day, but certainly not a super hot day. But you could wear it in warmer days, and yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's the performance again isn't going to be a beast mode performer, but it's pretty average to above average. It's all right. You'll get a solid 6 hours out of it, and projects pretty decently for the first hour or two. Then you're just going to have a nice bubble, a nice sillage around you after that, and it just smells really good. For $20, I would recommend this to everybody. It's a pretty safe blind buy, and yeah, highly recommend. That's Lattafa Jasur. And yeah, so that is going to be it for me. That is 3 cheap cologne fragrances that I would highly recommend to anybody. And yeah, so that'll be it, and I will see y'all in the next.